Everybody wants to be a content creator. I actually don't know if that's true, but I wanted to be a content creator at some point in time. And I suppose I am a content creator, you could say. I don't know if I'd call myself a YouTuber as such, because despite the fact that I make YouTube videos, the majority of my income isn't YouTube related. And I would like to talk about the financial side so that anyone who's curious can manage expectations around the whole thing. But first, I want to talk about my experience with the whole content game and how it's unfolded for me. The title of this video is going to be something along the lines of the content creation trap or something like that, but effectively what we're discussing is content creation and how it's not quite what one might imagine when they set out on the journey. From the outside looking in, content creation, YouTuber, whatever, it seems quite interesting and fun. You know, you just film yourself, your life or whatever. And that is kind of what it is to an extent. But underpinning any content creator's career or content creator's expression is something that they are interested in. Before content creation existed, people still did the things that content creators do now. So if you're a content creator that does rock climbing content, rock climbing came before content creation. If you're a musician, music came before content creation. If you are someone that does self-help and personal development content, those areas existed before the internet or before any sort of content creation mediums as we know it now. And I think we have put the horse before the cart, I think would be the expression. A lot of people in our society at the moment want to be a content creator, but that's secondary to the thing that you create content about. If the goal is to be a content creator, then there's not really much focus on the journey. And as we all know, paying a lot of attention and energy toward the journey is what really gets us by in this life, and it's what allows us to live a fulfilling life and an enjoyable life. But now, since we're focused on the destination, aka being a YouTuber, being a content creator, a TikToker, or whatever you are, or whatever you want to be, all of a sudden the thing that gets you there you've forgotten about. This can be really problematic, and I'll just share my experience because it's mine and I know it best. I got on here wanting to share stories and little pockets of my life and lessons that I learned, and maybe a little bit of cinematography here and there. That's all well and good. And you know, at the early stages of content creation, nobody sees your stuff. It doesn't matter. You're not expecting a whole lot from it. Maybe every time you upload, you get upset because nobody watches it. And that's fine. But then there comes a point, like there came for me, where the algorithm boosted one of my videos in particular. It reached hundreds of thousands of people, and that was a very exciting time. And it was a time where I thought, oh, everything's changed, everything's going to change now. Like, people are going to want to work with me, people are going to be more impressed by me in real life, I'm going to have more money. And to an extent there was a little bit of truth to all of those things, but then there's also a lot of expressions of gratitude and thank you, and that's lovely and that's wonderful. And I suppose that's why I really kind of have this ambition of mine to reach people, is to connect and to impact people in that way. And that's amazing. But then in terms of like the money sides of things, it's not at where I would have hoped it would be by now. And part of that's just bad luck, because when my channel had its initial surge in growth, I wasn't monetized, and YouTube takes like 48 hours to update its back end, and within those 48 hours is when I got the majority of the views on this channel. So this channel's got somewhere just over maybe like 1.1 million views, but for like over half of those views I wasn't monetized. So like over half of the income that I could have generated from this channel, I didn't even get it. On the topic of views and revenue, views ideally won't be how one generates the revenue, at least not directly. And by that I mean, a YouTube channel or a content creator is effectively the front end of a business. It's the marketing for a business, and it's what's behind that business that actually generates the revenue. So that's why I say, if we're focusing solely on the views, we're not going to have a sustainable career in this, because that's dependent on the algorithm and large volumes of people watching, which we can't really depend on. There's creators I know that only get a few thousand views on a video, but they're making 5-6 figures a month because of the nature of their business. Now, some of my revenue would come from clients that pay me to help them with their videos, or it might come from one-on-one mentorship clients that I have. So the views are like just too volatile to really depend on, and that's why, again, we have to come back to like, what are we doing and why are we doing it? If we're interested in telling stories, we can create products around that. Like I'm a musician, as many of you know, so I have a separate channel for that. But even on here, I created a soundscape meditation experience, which is something that people can purchase if they want to purchase it. So, the real long-term sustainability of a content creator is really going to depend on what the bedrock of their creation is. And for me, yeah, it's storytelling and the personal growth stuff that I talk about, but it's also my artistic nature. It's my music, it's my interest in videography and whatnot. I'm going to be making stuff on that soon as well. But I just wanted to mention that because you can look at someone with tons of views, but it doesn't necessarily equate to revenue. At least on YouTube, yeah, if you get loads of views all of the time, you will generate ad revenue and sponsorship from that. But for a lot of people, getting loads of views, going viral all the time, it's not really sustainable, and it's not in the nature of a lot of niches. That's why people build, paid communities and have different revenue streams aside from the actual outward facing videos. If we're building something sustainable in life, in business, in a relationship, we can't be focused on that short-term success, that instant gratification, because it's not enough. It's fuel that burns too hot, and so the fire's gone out before you've even gotten to 6 p.m. in the evening, when the real cold is going to set in. So it's very easy to get bogged down in that, which I did and I do, because each time you create and upload a video, there's the whole YouTube studio thing, which tells you how well it's performing and relative to your other videos and watch time and all of these things and the expected revenue and blah, blah, blah. And every time I upload a video, or any creator uploads a video, they get access to this information. And it'll either be a very exciting time or it'll be a very miserable time, because when it says 10 out of 10 and all of the arrows are pointing down and it's gray and it's like your video is doing terrible compared to your last 10 videos, that obviously feels awful as a creator. In my experience anyway, what I do is I see those arrows and I see those numbers and I think, oh, people dislike me. Like, they literally do not like me. And this is showing me that they don't like me. Whereas really, it's just an indication that like the stars haven't aligned on this time. And maybe, yeah, there's always going to be people that do actually dislike me. Like, of the thousands of people that have subscribed or watched the video, I'm not going to be their cup of tea forever. And maybe I'm never their cup of tea, and that's fine, and that's part of it. But there's this kind of content creator rat race thing where it's like, I upload a video and then it's like, okay, how's it doing? Are the arrows green? Are they gray? Are we making any progress this month? And sometimes it's like, yeah, you're doing well. And then other times it's like, you're doing terrible. You're actually regressing. That's just really psychologically difficult. And it's like a new 9-to-5 rat race thing that I've created for myself. And many creators have, like, we, there's creator groups where we discuss all of this, and it's quite nice to have, people that have been in the game longer that can impart their wisdom and whatnot. But it's a constant struggle for me to have to deal with statistics, and then in order to get the statistics higher, because that's what I think will make me happier or feel better, there's the whole trap of like manipulating your titles and your thumbnails. And I'm well aware of the questionable nature of some of the titles that I use, and I know people call me out on it, and I appreciate that and I respect that, and I don't even disagree with you. It's like finding that line between being honest and authentic and then being able to effectively promote a piece of content. Like the content, like the actual videos, what I say within my videos, I feel like I always speak with my heart and with integrity there. But the fact of the matter is, to get someone to click on it, it is helpful to take into account, you know, the psychology of like what makes a good title, what makes a good thumbnail. And I think it might annoy some people, but the net effect of it is a positive effect. Like my highest performing video is how self-improvement ruined my life. And some people comment on that and they say, this shouldn't be called how self-improvement ruined my life. It should be called how self-improvement made my life better. And I don't disagree with that, but humans are more likely to click on the thing with the negative connotation to it. And so that's why I framed the title that way. And, you know, 600 and something thousand people have watched that. Tens of thousands of people have benefited from it. And I prefer to have, you know, how self-improvement ruined my life and have that positive outcome, rather than say how self-improvement made my life better, and maybe that video would have got 50 views or something. But it's this constant dance nonetheless. And I'm always, you know, experimenting and doing things and regretting things and be like, okay, that didn't feel good. Like, how can we do that differently so that it feels better for me and for the audience? Because, you know, there's more people involved in this than just me. And, you know, ideally I would just make videos and that would be fun. Like I do enjoy just making the video, and I really enjoy editing this, and like I like looking at the colors and the lights and the plants in the background and all of this stuff. And at the same time, what's the point in making a video if I don't share the video? What's the point in making a song if I don't share the song? Yeah, it's enjoyable in the moment, but there's more stages to the process that I want to embark upon. And those stages are, like, when it comes to music, it's sharing the music. When it comes to making a video, it's sharing the video and sharing the ideas and sharing the visuals with other people and allowing them to, you know, be in that experience with me. You know, money and views and clout and all of these things often are prioritized over the journey, over the process of just creating the thing. And that's where the pressure comes. And it's like this vicious cycle. I almost like forget about how cool and well-intentioned the initial phase of the process was. And then, you know, you can spend like a week or a month on a video, and then you put it out and it does terrible. And then you spend 10 minutes on some other weird talking head one, and it just happens to sit right with the algorithm, and then that does really well. And you reach new people, and your revenue increases. And it's like, it's just so random and scattered, and it can really make you feel jaded toward this whole industry and life and whatever. I'm at the early stages, I would say, of my content creation journey. I mean, it's been like 4 years, I would say, that I've been actively making content, and I'm far away from, you know, exclusively being a full-time YouTuber or content creator that makes money solely from doing my own artistic stuff like this. But even by creating so many times over the years, like I've made probably 500 to 600 videos between YouTube, between TikTok, Instagram, and all of these things. And with that has come just a wealth of experience and practice, and that's transferable to, you know, the corporate world or to client work. So I would make a lot of videos for clients, and I would consult with people that are trying to use video to help grow their business. And I wouldn't really be able to do that if I hadn't put in so much work and put in so much practice and learned like the camera and the lighting and also just articulating on camera. Like, a lot of people aren't used to talking on camera, whereas I am. And so people have found that to be a great assistance when it comes to them being on camera, to have me there to help hold space and coach them through that process. So, you know, aside from all of the fancy things and the nice things that I think I associated with being a content creator, and that most people do that want to set out in this journey, there's a whole host of other stuff that goes on. You know, there's all the technical stuff, there's all of the people stuff, the meeting new people, and learning to be patient in the process, because not every video is going to be a 1 out of 10. which is like the best rating on YouTube Studio. And most of them are probably going to be underperforming by your standards. But that gives you an opportunity to look in and see like what was the intention? Like, what were we expecting? Okay, we didn't get it. Why didn't we get it? Were we poor in our planning, or did we just have too high an expectation? You know, there's so much to learn just from the process of trying and failing, and content creation really has set me up to embark on that journey at an accelerated speed. But if we're not careful as creators, we can easily, you know, burn out. We can get jaded when we forget about what it is that we're actually making content about, what underpins what we're doing. Because it can't be about the views and it can't be about the money, because that's never going to be enough. But it's what we're talking about. And, you know, this topic is something that I've enjoyed contemplating. I've enjoyed, you know, creating this just from an artistic perspective. I've enjoyed my tea. And I hope that you've enjoyed it and found some value in it wherever you are in your journey. I'm wishing you well. Feel welcome to sign up to my newsletter. There's a link in the description. And there's also a free meditation down there for radical confidence, which is going to help you to realize the gifts and the value that you have to share, so that you can go about sharing them in the world in whichever way you please. All right, cheers.